Hi everyone, Emily here. We are going to crochet a little stuffed animal today. I went to the Dollar Tree and I bought this Premier Just yarn. I only bought one skein and we're going to use this to make a little stuffed animal. I know we'll have enough yarn because this is not going to be very large. We're going to make a crocheted kitty. Now I've made some larger ones. I haven't made any with this yarn. I have made smaller ones, but nothing this small with this type of yarn and this type of kitty. So let's do it together. This is a beginner friendly pattern. So we're going to do it together so you'll be able to see exactly how it's done. Okay, and follow along. I'm going to make my own pattern. Missing a couple of nails. These I am missing due to putting eyeballs on. So my nails did not like that. This one fell off this morning. That's okay. I could file them down and put them back on, but I might pop them all off. So I hope this doesn't bug you too much. So we're going to do a crochet cat. Now I'm going to write down how I think the pattern is going to go. And if I change it, I'll just cross it off and change it. And that way I can write it in my little crochet book. So we're going to do a magic ring, or you can call it a magic circle. And we're going to do 6 single crochets. This will help you also so that you can learn how to read a pattern. MR is magic ring, or MC is a magic circle. And I'm going to do 6 single crochets, a total. So I guess it's not going to be written like that. It's going to be written magic ring, single crochet in parentheses, which is a single crochet all the way around. No. Oh, start over. Emily, you're getting ahead of yourself. A magic ring. I'm going to do 6 single crochets in the magic ring. Okay. So this is going to be row 2. We are going to do, we'll have 6 single crochets. So we're going to do 1 increase. When it's in parentheses, that means all the way around. So we're going to do 1 increase in every one of these 6 single crochets, and that's going to give us 12 single crochets. Row 3, we are going to do 1 single crochet. In the next stitch, we're going to do an increase. I'm going to put it in parentheses because we're going to be doing that as our pattern all the way around. So let's see, that's going to give us 18. This is 12. It's going to give us 12. You'll see these usually on the end in parentheses so that you know how many stitches you have so that you can count them. Row 4, which I'm not that good with math, so that might be as far as I get. We're going to do 2 single crochets in. You're going to do 2 single crochets, parentheses, increase. So this isn't going to mean we're going to do 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. We're going to do 2 single crochets, 1 in 1 stitch, 1 in the next stitch. Increase is 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. And that's going to be our pattern all the way around. Row 5. We are going to do 3 single crochets and then an increase. And we're going to do that all the way around. Then for row 6 through 10, 4 rows, we're going to do a single crochet in each stitch all the way around. Okay? See how scribbly it is when you first make your pattern, and then I can clean it up when I put it in my book. So after we do 6 through 10, then we're going to do for row 11, we are going to do 1 single crochet and a decrease. I'm going to put that in parentheses because that's going to be our pattern all the way around. Then for rows 12 and 13, 2 rows, we're going to do a single crochet in each stitch around. Okay. Let's see. After that, for row 14, we're going to do 1 single crochet and a decrease. And I'm just pulling this out of the air of how I think I want to do it, so I can change this as we go. Then after that, for row 15, we're going to do a decrease all the way around for each stitch, and then we're going to close off. So I'm sitting here not really knowing how many stitches I'm going to have left when I get to this decrease. So what I'll do is I'll close up the top, go around and grab all the outside loops. I'm going to pull it tight, and then I'll take my needle and go around and just keep pulling it until it closes off. Then after we get done with the body, you know, somewhere up here we better put the eyes on. Or you could sew your eyes on. We'll deal with that when we get there. And then after that, we will do the tail. And I'll show you how to sew the ears on. Okay, so this is going to be a really nice, fast pattern. And I hope this camera is going to work with me. Okay, so I'm going to use this yarn. I think it's a good color so that we can really see what I'm doing. Let me put my glasses on here. Okay. It's a medium 4, and it does call for a 5.5 crochet hook. However, since I am going to be stuffing this, I'm going to use a smaller hook, and I'm going to use a 4.25. I think this will work perfect. This is kind of the one I use with my Red Heart, my mainstay. I love this yarn, just kind of almost with all my yarn. This seems to be what I go to. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to take it, if I can, out of the inside, just because I don't want to have to be messing with this on camera from the outside. So let's see how this works. Ooh. Oop. Oh, you know. Okay. It looks like I'm going to take it from the outside. All right. So I'm going to put this off the camera over by my side. This yarn, even though it's from the Dollar Tree, it's pretty soft. I'm really in love with this color, and I don't think that's going to come off, so I'm just going to cut it. That paper and the glue. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is make a magic circle. If you do not want to make a magic circle, you don't know how, you prefer not to, you don't like them, you can always close it up after, and you can just chain 2 and then turn around and go into that first chain and do your 6 single crochets. Or you could do a magic circle. So I'm going to do my magic circle. I just take it and I wrap it around my finger like this. I'm going to take my hook and go under this first loop and grab the second one and bring it up. Take my finger out. You can see how it looks. I always take my yarn and hold it in between these 2 fingers here. And then I'm going to hold this. And I'm going to bring my yarn up. I'm just telling you every step here, but you can see how I'm just kind of want to make sure that I have a good hold with these 2 fingers in that loop. And then I'm going to chain 1. Now I've kind of secured it. Put my fingers here. I'm going to go in, and I'm going to do 6 single crochets. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I'm going to pull on this string, and it's going to close that hole right up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so our next is going to be 1 increase, so we're going to have a total of 12 stitches. I am not going to use a stitch marker yet. Hold on just a minute. Okay, sorry about that. I have one of these things where it goes around my neck and it holds my camera right here. So if it's wobbly, it's either because I'm breathing, talking, or moving. Sorry. So I just have a piece of yarn here that I'm going to use for my stitch marker. Okay. So I'm going to pick up my project here. So I'm going to just go right into this first stitch. You can count back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to go right in there, and I'm going to do my first single crochet. So there's 1. Now I'm going to count these as I go. So there's 1, another one in the exact same stitch, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So I did 2 single crochets in each one of those 6 stitches, and this is what I have. Now see this opening here? I don't really want that, so I'm going to take and pull this really tight. Closed it up. Now what I like to do, which is kind of crazy, I like to tie a knot and push it up towards the bottom, and that way I think that it won't be able to pull that yarn through there as easy. That's what I do. Now we don't have to worry about that opening up anymore. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my stitch marker, which is a piece of yarn. You can use whatever you feel like using. I just find this easy to pull it out to move it. Okay, so I have it here. My next row is number 3. I'm going to do 1 single crochet and an increase for a total of 18. So we're going to start with the next stitch, and we're going to do 1 single crochet, like it says here, and then we're going to do an increase, and that's going to be our pattern all the way around. And of course our increase is 2 single crochets in the same stitch. 1 single crochet, increase, which is 2 single crochets in the same stitch. I hope I'm making this really simple. Single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase, single crochet is where I'm ending it. So now we're going to do 2 single crochets and an increase. So I'm going to take my stitch marker, I'm going to pull it out and move it up. 2 single crochets and an increase, which means 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, and an increase, which is 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Let's just do that all the way around. I end it with an increase. Excuse me. I'm going to move my stitch marker up. So our next one is going to be our last increase row, and we're going to do 3 single crochets and an increase. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, increase, which is 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Make sure you're getting underneath those V's. And I'm ending with a single crochet. Okay, so that was our last decrease row. Our increase row, excuse me. So when you look at it, you can count from the middle out. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're on row 6, and we're right on the rows here. Row 6 is 6th row through 10th row. We're going to do 4 rows of single crochets all the way around. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'll show you what I like to do is I like to move my marker up. I know that I'm going to be doing 4 rows. So I'm not going to be moving this up every row. It helps me keep count of my rows. So I'm going to do my single crochets all the way around. And I am not going to make a move of that stitch marker. It will make it easier for me to count the rows that I've done. So we did our first round, and I'm just going to curl this up like this. I think this is easier for me. Okay, so I have my 4 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can see here where my marker is, it kind of just goes slanted a little bit, so it's right here. I'm going to move my stitch marker up. There we go. We did our row 6 through 10. And here it says we did our single crochets. Now we're going to do row 11, 1 single crochet and 1 decrease. Alrighty, so we're going to go and do our 1 single crochet. Let's do that. Now to do your decrease, what you're going to do is you're going to go into the front loop of that stitch, go into the next front loop of the next stitch. You have 2 strands or 3 strands on your hook. Grab your yarn, take it underneath those 2. You have 2 left and bring it through just like you would a single crochet. I'm going to do my 1 single crochet. And if that's too complicated and you're new and you're like, you know, I'm having a hard time going through those front loops, just go underneath the whole thing, bring the yarn up, go underneath the whole thing, bring the yarn up, grab the yarn and bring it through. There you go. 1 single crochet, a decrease. You can take it underneath both strands and bring it up. When you go in the front loops, they call that the invisible decrease. I don't know what they call the one that where you go under both of them. Maybe that's just a decrease. And sometimes if your project is super little, it's almost impossible to do the invisible decrease. So, and I'll tell you what, it really does work up faster when you go through both loops. So you can decide which one you prefer. Under one, under the next one, and then pull your yarn through all of them. Now I'm ending with 2 single crochets, it looks like here. Okay. Look at that. He's going to be a little kitty. Okay. So our next row is 12 and 13, and we're going to do 2 rows of single crochets. So I'm going to move my stitch marker up, and I'm not going to move my stitch marker until I finish both my single crochet rows. This is 1 and 2 rows. I'm going to move my stitch up. Now we're going to go to row 14. We're going to do 1 single crochet and a decrease. Okay, so let's do that all the way around. And we know we're doing this all the way around because on the pattern it's in parentheses. If there was a single crochet here, that would not be in the repeat. That would mean at the end you'd have 1 single crochet. I haven't been writing that in there. I have been telling you I'm ending with 2 single crochets or double crochet, whatever. I don't mind what I end with because it's not going to really hurt this cat pattern at all. Okay. So we're doing, now that I've talked, we're doing 1 single crochet and a decrease. And we know how to do the decrease, so we're going to do, whoops, stay in there. We're going to do our single crochet first. And then we're going to do our decrease. And I am ending in a decrease. So now we're done. It says to do a row of decreases and we're closing it off. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and make my stitch marker up. And I'm going to immediately do a decrease. And I'm just going to do it all the way around. And it looks like I'm ending in a decrease. Woohoo! Alrighty, so there's not a very big hole, and look at me, didn't stop and stuff, so I'm just going to do a single crochet. I'm going to pull it so that I'm leaving myself enough to sew to close it up. And look at, I still have so much yarn left, I probably could make quite a few more cats. But this yarn from the Dollar Tree, it's really nice to work with. It's very, I think this is really soft. Okay, so I have a little hole here. Let me grab my stuffing. Okay. So you might want to stuff as you go. I'm going to take my stitch marker out. I do like to use really super small pieces of stuffing when I'm stuffing my projects, just because I think it makes it more fluffy. And you can really pack it in there when you put it in a little bit at a time. Also, I kind of have a habit of waiting till the last minute because I don't like to crochet and then get stuffing in there and pull some out, which always seems to be my MO. Having a hard time talking today. I apologize. Your safety eyes. There we go. Okay, I think this is enough. Yes, I do. Okay, so you can get your thread, your needle, and what you're going to do is you're going to go underneath. You can see the V. Go underneath that first, and you're just going to bring your yarn through. I'm going to just go ahead and use this hook. If you want it to grab your needle, that way you can bury it or go around it a few times. You certainly can. Okay, so I went all the way around. I picked up those outside loops, and I'm just going to pull it. Now this is the top of the head. See our little body goes up a little bit. So if I had my needle, I would just keep going around and around and around. And I really don't even need to do that because it closed up pretty good. Okay, so as you see, I pushed up a knot all the way up against it. I do that because I feel like it can't get through there to come undone. So I'm just going to bury my yarn. I kind of do things my own way, and you can go around with your needle a few times if you wanted to, or you can just do it like me and bury it. Okay, so here's our body. You know, let's go ahead and do our ears now before we do the tail. so that you can see how the face is going to look. And then if you were to put your safety eyes in, you could decide where you want to put yours. So what I'm going to do is I am going to do a slip knot on my yarn. I'm going to take my yarn, take the short end, and I'm going to tie a knot over my yarn. See? That's how I learned how to do it when I was younger. There we go. Simple. Okay, so we're going to take the face, the head, the whole body. All right. We're going to decide where we want the front of our face to be. And I'm trying to pick a spot where it looks pretty even, so when I do my eyes, I'm not doing it somewhere where it joined or there's a slant. So I think I want, there's a decrease. I think I want right here to be the front of my face. So I'm going to go up here, and I'm, cat's ears are pretty close to the top of the head. So here's the middle. I'm just going to, here's one row. So I'm just going to go to the next row, and I'm not going to go right in the middle. I'm going to go the closest to the middle towards the front of my cat. And I'm just going to go under that whole stitch. Now I'm going to grab it. I went in underneath. I'm going to grab my yarn and bring it through and bring it up. And I'm going to do a single crochet. You can see where I went in. So I'm going to go into that same opening. I'm going to do a yarn over. Now a yarn over is where you take the yarn, you just put it around your hook like that. I'm going to go into that opening, pull my yarn up, and then I'm going to grab my yarn. I'm going to take it through all three of those strands. Okay, that's a half double crochet. Now I'm going to do a double crochet. So we're going to yarn over again. We're going to go into that same opening. We're going to pull our yarn up. We have our 3 strands. Now we're going to grab our yarn. We're only going to go through 2 loops. You have 2 left. Grab your yarn. Go through the next 2. That is a double crochet. So we have half our ear. We have a single crochet, half double crochet, and a double crochet. So now we want to do a half double crochet, yarn over. Go in that same opening. We're going to pull our yarn up, grab our yarn, and take it through all 3 strands, and that's a half double crochet. Now we're going to end with a single crochet. And chain 1, pull it. Now I am going to leave this a little long because we're going to take these and we're going to bury them. We're going to tie them together and bury them. So let's go ahead before we do that and do our next ear. Okay. We're going to tie a knot around this long strand. We're going to take the end and tie a knot over it. Slip knot. And I'm going to pull it tight. My cats are playing. I buy the fiber fill in a huge box at Hobby Lobby, and I kept the box, and they're over there climbing all over it. Okay. So we're going to try to get our ear to go straight across. So let's see. I'd say about right here. Oh yeah, they're having a heyday over there. Okay, I think I'm going to choose right here. So we're going to do the exact same thing. Pull it through. We're going to do our single crochet. Yarn over and do a half double crochet. Yarn over and do a double crochet. Yarn over and do a half double crochet. And then we're going to go in and do a single crochet, chain 1 and pull it and cut it off. Now we have our 2 ears. Yay! Oh my gosh, can you see it? Can you see it? Okay. So now what we're going to do, see the opening right in front of the cat ear where you went into it? We're going to go down in there and come out the side, like right next to where the ear is. And I'm just going to grab the yarn and pull it to the front. Now we're going to go into that same opening and do the same for the front of the ear. I'm coming up right next to where that ear is. Okay, for me it looks like it's a little bit tight, but I'm going to make it go in. There we go. And I'm going to grab that yarn and I'm going to bring it through to the front. So now I have both my pieces of yarn in the front and I'm going to pull it. See how my ear just kind of, now it's standing really nicely. So I'm just going to take these 2 strands and I'm going to tie a knot. Just going to tie a knot and another knot. And you can tie any type of knot you want. Then I'm just going to go in down here in the body somewhere, go up. And I didn't go through the stuffing because I didn't want it to come out with my hook. I'm going to grab this yarn and I'm going to pull it into the body of my cat. There we go. That ear looks super cute. Okay, let's do the next ear. And I'm going to do it the same way. I'm just going to go into the stitch right in front of where I crocheted in with for the ear. And I'm going to pull my yarn through to the front. Go into that same stitch and pull my yarn through. And I'm going to tie a knot. I'm going to pull it nice and tight. Starting to look like a kitty. Okay. Grab my yarn and pull it into the body. Isn't that cute? So I have 2 ears on the top of my head. So I will be putting a nose, 2 eyeballs, and a few whiskers. But to make this a true kitty, we need a tail. Now, like I said, you can make this any animal you want. Just make the ears that you need. You can make this into a rabbit by just putting big ears, maybe a couple little arms, little feet, and a tail. You can just do so much with this pattern. Okay, so let's make a tail. Put that right there so you can see it. I'm going to get some yarn. So I am going to make a magic circle. You can chain 2 and go into that first chain, or you can chain 3 and go into that first chain, whichever you find easiest. So I have my magic circle, and I'm going to do 6 single crochets. 2, 3. It's a little big, so I'm going to just pull it a little bit. 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to pull this tight, pull it closed. And I am going to do 1 single crochet and an increase all the way around. So let's grab our marker and put it in here. So we're going to go into the very first stitch here. Go under both strands, and we have our first single crochet. We're going to do an increase, which is 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Single crochet, 2 single crochets in the next stitch. Single crochet, 2 single crochets in the next stitch. Now this is the back part of our tail, So we're going to be working towards the front of the tail. So now I can move my stitch marker up. I am going to do a single crochet. I'm going to put the tail right here, not all the way in the back, but kind of over here to the side a little bit. I'm going to do single crochets until my tail comes to the front of the kitty. Then I'll decrease and tie it off. So, depending on how big your kitty is, just keep doing single crochets now until your kitty's tail goes to the front of the kitty. Okay? And what we're going to do after it gets the length we want it, we're going to end it off. We're going to do some decreases. End it off, and then we will sew it with a needle in yarn to the cat body. And you are going to want to stuff this as you go. So I'm just going to put a little bit of stuffing in here. These scissors are really sharp on the point, so it really gets it down in there. And just keep crocheting. Alrighty, I think my tail is long enough because when I put it like this, and I bring it around to the front, it's like in the front. So I know the tail looks pretty big. You can make yours not as thick if you want to. However, once we sew it to the body, it won't look as big. So now I'm just going to start doing some decreases. I'm going to do a decrease. I'm going to do a single crochet. And I'm going to do another decrease. And a single crochet. Another decrease. Looks like I can do one more single crochet, and it looks like I'm all the way around. Now I'm just going to do 3 decreases. There's 1, 2, whoops. Before I do that, I better finish stuffing my tail. Well, you know what? Looks like I only got 2 done, so I'm going to tie it off. If it gets a little too cramped for you, just tie it off whenever you want to. I have my plastic needle here. Get rid of that stuffing. And I'm just going to go underneath these front loops. Pull it tight. And again, I'm going to tie my knot. And I'm going to push it all the way up against it. So I'd like to get as close to it as possible when I start to pull my knot. And I hold this piece right here, the round piece, and I hold it down to where I want the knot to go while I pull it. There we go. Now I'm just going to take this through and bury my yarn. And if you go through your stuffing like I just did, it makes it really hard. So I'm going to try not to go through the stuffing and go along the outside. There we go. And you can cut that off or you can bury it. And I really don't want to have little strands all over. And you know, it never hurts to bury it so that it gives you a little bit more stuffing in there. So we have our tail. Kind of looks like a carrot. Okay. Now, I'm going to sew my tail on. So I'm going to get me a nice piece of yarn here. Take my body and my tail. So I'm going to decide where I want my tail to start. I think I want it to start right here. Now you can put your cat down on the table and kind of wrap this around. You have that kitty flat. So this is kind of where I want my tail to go. So I'm just going to go right into the tail and go into a stitch. And I'm not going to tie it off. I'm just going to leave a nice tail here and let it hang. I'm going to hold my tail kind of, because here's the face where I want it. And I'm going to hold it. And I'm just going to go underneath here. Underneath here. And you can see I'm not like going into every stitch, because I'm going to also do this along the top. So I'm going to go down. And then I'm going to go up through here again. Kind of hard to show on camera because it's really not that difficult. And I want it to be nice and tight. I squished them all out of form. There we go. My poor kitty is all squished up. So here's the front of my kitty. Now I'm going to go back and do the top side of the kitty's tail. I kind of want it, I just want it on there nice and tight so that it doesn't flop around when you pick them up. And I think that if I do the top and the bottom, it kind of holds it on better. I'm right here where I started. I think he looks really good. So I have a little black yarn for his eyes and a little pink yarn for his nose. And let's go ahead and sew those on, and then I'm pretty done because we got his tail here. But let's go ahead and get this into this tail on here really nice. So I have this cut yarn piece here. I'm just going to pull it up, and I'm going to kind of sew the end of this kitty's tail up against his little body. So I'm just going to bring this yarn down, and I'm going to tie it into a knot with this beginning strand. No, I'm just going to bury this, so it'll make it easier if I do it now before I cut it off. Oh, that went through the stuffing again, and that does not want to cooperate. There we go. There we go. There we go. So let's sew this baby's face on. This baby kitty. Okay, I'm going to straighten you up here. And let's get this kitty sewn up. So let's do the eyes first before we do the nose. Just going to take a little bit of black yarn. This is just acrylic yarn I'm using. Okay, so I'm thinking that I want my eyes like right here. Not too far up, but not too far down, because Now remember when I said I wanted to do it someplace where it wasn't going to be slanting? It's slanting a little bit this way. So I'm going to put it in the back, and I'm going to leave a tail because I'm going to bring it back out here and tie it and bury it. So I think I'm going to going to try to do it right here near this ear so I can do the other eye in the same place. So we're going to pull it and leave a nice tail. And I'm just going to I'm just going to go down a little bit. You could put safety eyes in. You can make your cat's eyes as big or as small as you want to. Just remember to put your yarn where you want it to be before you pull it all the way through. There we go. So I'm going to only have 3 strands for this eye. I'll go over here. And I want this to be on the outside, so I'm going to put my thumb right here. There we go. They're really not too hard to do once you get the hang of it. I say that, but I make mistakes all the time, and I got to tell you that my eyes do not come out perfect. This looks like this eye is going to be bigger, so let's see. I can always take my needle off, excuse me, my needle off. And does that look bad? I don't think so. Okay, so I'm just going to put the yarn on this side because I want the yarn to be on this side of this piece. Go under, put my finger right here, pull it through. So that eye is 3 strands, so I'm going to make this eye 3 strands. I'm going to take it right out the back, the same opening as this black one, so when I tie the knot, it will go right in there. Oh my goodness, it does not want to go through that stuffing. I don't know if it's because it's a plastic. Okay. Oh, looks like I'm going to have to. Okay. Just kind of run along with that right on the inside of this yarn because it's not wanting to go through that stuffing. It could be because I'm using a plastic needle instead of a metal needle. That could be it too. How does that look? I'm going to tie a knot here. Just going to bury this yarn. Come here, come on. There we go. Now, let's go ahead and do the little nose. And I'm just going to go back and forth with this pink a couple of times. Just going to go in right here underneath. Oops. I just kept pulling. I'm going to leave a little tail out so I can tie it in a knot. And I'm just going to go trying to make it the same. See how this looks. Hate to say it, but I don't think this needle likes me at all. There we go. How does that look? I think I'm going to go over a little bit and come down and through. There we go. Give a little character to that nose not being perfect. I'm going to tie it off. I'm going to bury that pink yarn. And there we go. Oh, we need whiskers. Oh my goodness. I ended that black without putting whiskers on. We better do whiskers. Okay. So I'm going to put it, I'm going to go in right here. I'm going to leave a tail. I'm going to do some whiskers. And you can put your sew your whiskers on any way you want to. I think I'm going to do 3 on each side. Wow, these whiskers are taking up his whole face. That's okay. I could have put his nose a little lower, huh? That's all right. Just wanted that yarn to come out so I could pull it nice and tight. Bury that tail. Oh wow, look at that, he's so cute. So, the nose. You know what? I'm going to do a little more work on this nose. Now when you make something, you know, sometimes you change your mind or you like the way something looks. So let's go ahead and just make his nose a little bit bigger. I don't know, should I? No, I'm going to leave it the way it is. I think it looks cute. So, this is my little kitty. What do you think? Isn't he cute? Well, I'm really happy with him. I think he's cute. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. You guys have a great day. Stay safe. Please come back soon and see what I'm up to. And hopefully I can get to a tutorial on my little gnomes because they're super, super cute. Thank you. Have a great day. Remember that you're awesome. Bye.